Have you ever heard of an ESG score? No? Well, we're here to explain to you what it is and how it works. Coming up next. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Open Up.
Hey, guys.
So, Mike, what is ESG?
Okay. By definition, an ESG score is the measure of a company's exposure to long-term environmental, social, and governance risk issues. To break that down, it's basically saying these companies need to have guidelines on their energy efficiency, worker safety, second board independence, and financial implications.
Yeah, like paying back their debts or, whatever the case, whatever they use to run the books with.
Yes, and why is this ESG score good right now for big companies? Is what these big companies do is the way it works. They need new investors. They need new money. The more new investors, the more new money, the more they make. So this rating is to ensure that when you're spending your hard-earned money on buying stocks in these companies, that they're doing the right thing, meaning environmentally, socially, and governmentally.
Well, they have it, the score, like you say, it's there. It kind of gives the illusion of the investor can invest responsibly. He can,
breathe easy.
Yeah, invest where he thinks things are going on. Because obviously, anybody knows the market. The company could be at low risk or high risk, and who knows how the market goes. It usually fluctuates at that. But with this type of ESG, it's a score, and they're able to when an investor sees it, if the score is high, okay, it is at high risk. If the score is low, it's at low risk.
So it's not like your regular credit score. Yeah. This is the opposite. The lower the number, the better the risk. The lower the risk it is. The higher the number, the higher the risk, obviously. So you want to be investing in those low number companies, yes.
But let me tell you something about that. Let me explain something here. And the environmental part is obviously that's a big concern for everybody. And if their carbon footprint, their sustainability, the pollution, and all that stuff that comes along with it. You want them to have a good
environmental. Yeah, you want your money to be going into a good ESG score company. I mean, again, you want to make sure that they're not dumping garbage in the rivers.
Yes.
That you want to know that they're socially okay with everybody. They're not one-sided. You want to make sure they're for the long run with energy efficiency nowadays, where that's getting big right now. So you want to ensure that they're going towards the right direction. Yeah. And that's what makes these investors say, okay, oh wow, that ESG rating is at a 13. That's pretty good. Let's spend my money on that.
That's really good, yeah. So the environmental part of this score was carried the most weight a few years ago. But over the last 10 years, the social part of this score is starting to carry just as much weight. And this is the social part. See, back then it would mean, okay, so to make sure that the company isn't doing anything immoral or anything illegal. That would be the social aspect. But now, the social aspect in this score is really up for interpretation. And it's coming down from a governance committee that we don't know who it is. So let me give you an example. Tesla, okay? Everybody loves Tesla. Elon Musk, he's doing great things. We know he is. Nothing bad to say about him. Tesla's ESG score is 28.5. It's labeled as a high risk. Now we know that Tesla stock is at like around 1,100 right now. It's continuously making money, but he's also making incredible innovation. Yes. Okay, but now you have a corporation. Let's say Microsoft. Microsoft's ESG score is at 13.8, which is considered a low risk. And we know who owns that? Bill Gates.
Yes.
one of the liberal elites, I guess. And another one that has changed in the last 10 years, Disney. Disney 10 years ago had one of the worst ESG scores. It was very high.
I bet you didn't know that.
Yeah, but now their score is at a 14.5.
Wow.
And the reason why I bring that up, because I want you to realize what this score does and why it is important. Because think about 10 years ago how Disney was. Think about over the last 10 years, all these things that Disney has been doing and what is currently going on with Disney. And they're giving into this culture, they're making this, and it's making their score better. Okay, so does it, is it a big deal for us? Well, it kind of is a big deal for everybody, because what happens is, we purchase everything from these companies, from our food to our entertainment to our services. Well, if these services, they're starting to dictate what we have, what we're buying into and what we're consuming, because of, they want to be on obviously the low end of the score to keep making money for their investors. So that's what gives the S part of this, it makes it subjective.
Yeah.
And the question Mike and I have is, okay, so if it's suggestive, then who's the one suggesting this? Who are the people that are saying this is what you have to do, or we're going to give you a bad score? Who is actually the governance? I tried to find who the governance is, and you can't find anything about it. You can't find who's
at the top of the
There's no
mountain.
committees. There's none of that stuff.
So, and then it begs the question: Can it be paid for or manipulated for these companies to get an ESG rating that maybe they didn't deserve? I mean, the importance of the ESG score is for the companies, when they know they score low, they can anticipate future risks. So basically, the lower you get, the less risk you get, the more money you're going to get. And again, when it becomes who is the one that is the governance, who is the one that says, yes, what you're doing is fine, then, can it be bought?
Yeah, because they say, well, could you be a little more woke? Could you be a little more diversify in this way?
Can you be more this way, or can you be more that way? And depending on what company it is, how far are they going left, or how far are they going right to meet these ESG ratings? And
that's the scary part, because that's the part that we don't realize, like how far this is going to go. And the reason why I brought up Disney was just to explain, to kind of give you guys a visualization on where Disney was and where Disney is now in only 10 years. So obviously there's millions of companies.
Yeah, did they do a flip 180?
Yeah, and
do
just look at their
right?
content. Look at what they're doing now.
Yeah, did they do everything right? Why were they doing everything wrong before?
Exactly.
Now they're doing everything right, and we all know Disney makes billions.
Yeah, billions of
dollars.
dollars.
Disney makes billions, and Disney it's Disney. It's a big name. So again, are they paying for a changed or an undeserving ESG score? And then again, it goes back to the little guy. Because now, am I spending my hard-earned money buying stocks in Disney because it says they're low risk?
Yeah,
they have a great ESG score. But now, can I go up on that? Can I believe in that nowadays?
You're exactly right, and you have every reason to think that. And not only could it be bought, because we know how this world works nowadays, but the companies that are trying to the S is starting to outweigh the E. And the E was one of the biggest things when all this started.
Environmental. I mean,
huge.
We need the planet here.
Yeah,
for us to make money.
We want the right things being done. That's how it started. But now the S, the social part, is becoming larger than the environment. And when it comes to this score, and that's what people should start worrying about, because it's not about what the company is doing well. It's what movement are they behind this month?
Yeah, and again, what gets me nervous is, like you said, what movement about? What does define the social? Can it be whoever's the governance, can it be, okay, you know what, this person donated to this charity that we are affiliated with. Okay, is that a meaning of their social? Is just because I donated to a charity that you liked, but something I wasn't about, and that's the only way I can get my ESG score up?
Yeah, and that's you're
so
exactly
then you're
right.
changing the way you're looking at things.
Yeah,
basically
exactly
just
right.
to get this number up.
It's exactly right, and that's where we feel that it can be abused. It could be manipulated. Let me give you another example. Remember, I don't know, maybe a month ago or so, when the GoFundMe had all that money for the truckers in Canada. Mm-hmm. Well, remember when GoFundMe said we're not going to do it, where they didn't want to give them their money, they were going to donate it to a charity of their choosing.
Yeah, and thing is, they're taking not their money.
Exactly.
It's not their money they're taking to put into this charity that most of these people gave because of these truckers.
For a certain thing.
These truckers that were getting literally shitted on.
Yeah.
Literally shitted on.
Right.
They gave their hard-earned money to help these people, and for them to be able to turn around and do something else with that.
Yeah, because they were looking out for their ESG score, specifically the S in their score, the social part. So they felt like the money that was going to these truckers was not in the company's best interest, or it wasn't what aligns with their agenda, and they were going to take that money and donate it to a charity. Probably something completely opposite to it.
Exactly, and that's what you don't know. I mean, like, what was it?
Yeah, exactly. And so this is not just suggestive, but it's also become political, and that's the problem that happens to a lot of these things. But I'm going to stay away from that today. I want to talk about the social aspect of this.
Again, I mean, like you said, it also gets personal.
Yes.
Because it's not their money to be saying what they can do with it. I mean, these people donated.
But they were going to do it until somebody, until some type of government had to step in and say, you can't do this. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it should have been the people who are the governance part of the ESG score do it. But like we said before, who are they? They don't exist unless they want something. If it's not what they say, this is where your lane is now. If you don't make your commercials and comply with this, your score is not going to get any better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the question that Mike and I have is who are these people? Is it a committee? Is it the people who are members of the World Economic Forum? We don't know.
Yeah.
But it's obviously some sort of elite class that runs all this stuff.
Yeah, and it gets to thinking. I mean, with this ESG score, let me ask you a question. Is this something, this ESG score, is this something that can take over a regular person like me or yourself, where the credit score our credit score might not actually mean anything anymore?
Yeah, you're right.
Basically, this ESG score steps into place.
And I have a fear that it is going to. And if you go around reading articles and through the internet, you'll see some stuff about the Great Reset and the One World Order and how China has a social credit score. I feel that eventually this country and most other westernized countries are going to end up getting to this. So is that a good thing or a bad thing? Well, it's actually a bad thing because your credit score is based on who you are. You're able to manage your money, pay your debts, and that's why you get granted a good score. But what if you don't do that? But what if you follow just the left and what they do, but you have crappy money management? Well, what if they give you a good score because you're a Democrat? What if they give you a good score because you support BLM or any of these organizations? And the person over here who doesn't, but he's a hardworking American, and now your score is possibly the same or even better than his.
Yeah.
So they try to make things so level across the board, but you can't, because the equality of outcome can't be dignified unless there's a quality of income, of
and
effort.
That's what upsets me the most. That nowadays, I mean, you have the regular person out there who is, busting their ass day in, day out, trying to get your credit score, because I felt the future was your credit score.
Yeah, it's one of the most important things.
If you didn't have a good credit score coming up into 20 years from now, I felt like there'd be no more paper money. I felt like everything would be
which is another possibility.
yeah, everything would be card. Everything the amount of money you gain is from what you have on your credit score, because obviously the people that manage their money the best and can pay off, their bills and all that, those are the people that, they're going to manage their money and use it better.
They've earned it. They've earned that high score.
Exactly. Besides a person that just gets 3 credit cards and goes slam and buying everything.
Maxes them
out and doesn't makes the minimum payments and pays for 50 to 60 years.
Yeah, exactly.
But that guy, sooner or later, might have a better ESG score than I have, because maybe I don't donate, or I don't vote, or I don't vote for the person you want me to.
Exactly. And
you can get into a whole bucket of beans.
It could be an entire, they could go look into your browser history, or what if they look at it to see if you're a registered voter for which party.
Even if you're a blood donor, or even an organ donor, that can even get into the mix.
Any kind of social construct, I think, would be up for games. And that, I believe, is a step in the wrong direction.
It would be. I mean, you get into that world where all this political stuff does matter in a certain way, but
it does, and
it doesn't. It's kind of taking away from the hardworking person.
You're right. It does, and I get it. Everybody wants the equality. But the equality is not as good as equity. And if you're not putting in as much as everybody else, should you? Now, I get it. This goes into another conversation of people who are born in worse spots. I get that. Yeah. I understand all that. But if they're raised up, they should be raised up equivalent to what they are, what they put in, not to where you think they should be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's what you put in is what you get out of life.
Exactly
and
right.
That's just the bottom line. So there's no shortcuts.
Yes,
But it seems like, during our future, there seem to be more and more shortcuts.
Yeah, and is it a good thing or bad thing? And
I don't believe so.
So far, what I've seen, it's getting worse.
Why would any shortcut be good unless you're driving 10 hours and it cuts you 3 hours off? Any other shortcut, I feel like, takes away from who you are. If you're not trying hard in what you're doing and you're taking shortcuts, you know what? It might work for you for a little bit.
Yeah.
But again, I believe 100% you get in life what you put in.
Yeah, of course, and that's the most truth I've heard all day. It's the truth. So the reason why we bring this up, because it's a possibility. What if in a year or so you start hearing chatter about possibly a social credit score or whatever? So just want to let you guys know what an ESG score is. Hopefully you found that helpful. You could find it if you go online. You can look up a company you like and look up their ESG score. That is available.
Yeah.
But it won't go into any type of detail about the social and the governance part. That's why Mike and I decided to have a little conversation about it, because it can be, and more likely it will be, manipulated and abused.
Like everything else in the world.
Yes. So
it is what it is, but this is the life we live with. And guys, I hope you enjoyed our little knowledge session. We just try to give you a little bit of facts, a little bit of opinions on this ESG score, and hopefully you can take that and run with it. All right. And if you guys love or even like it, or even deal with it, hit us with a like. Hit us with a share.
Yeah.
Maybe subscribe. See what happens. And again,
that's right.
Great here talking to you guys. And that's what we're here for, just to talk to you. And I'll see you there, and I'll see you at another time.
See you later.